Good morning. This is State Scoop TV. My name is Jim Smith, Chief Information Officer of the state of Maine.
And I'm Joshua Karstens, the Director of the Project Management Office and Business Process Management.
Our top priorities are probably similar to a lot of states. We have a retiring workforce that takes up a lot of our emphasis and focus. We have about 24% of our workforce is going to retire in the next 2 or 3 years, and it's a challenge, obviously, when you're replacing a quarter of your workforce. So we really spend a lot of time on that. We have some other issues that challenge us. Procurement, both at, and you'll see this at both at the federal and the state level. Procurement reform. I'm in the procurement committee for NASCIO, looking at how can we procure better, how can we get better values for the state, how can we work better with vendors and have them find a way to help us solve the problems we have to solve. We're looking at things like how do we negotiate better with vendors, how we can get to simplified RFPs. We think the days of the 200-page RFP are probably over, and we're going to have to work with statutes and rules and say, how do we move forward on this? I think another thing we're looking at a lot is on cybersecurity, as every state is. We get hit, the state of Maine gets probed a couple million times a day, right? And so people are out there constantly testing our network, and we have to constantly be vigilant about that. Understand it, have the right tools, have the right business partnerships with Homeland Security and other agencies in Maine to really be very, very vigilant about that. And we're also doing a lot with lean processing and business process management, but I'll turn that to the expert here to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so bringing value to the state of Maine. Reducing costs is one of the big things we're trying to do in state government. And I believe we can do that through optimizing our processes through business process management. So we look for those values that we can bring to the agencies through modernization of our processes through IT.
I think I could sum that up in one word. It's about change, right? State IT, states in general are so anxious to move forward, to keep up with private industry, to provide services for the citizens, that people are just so open to ideas and different ways to approach things that we've had just great reception, great partnerships with our agencies and with the governor's office to say there are different ways to do things. Technology has moved ahead. The idea of how people get work done has moved ahead. The idea of how you communicate with a citizen. Our citizen expects to do every service he can on his mobile phone. All this has moved ahead and creates a great, great challenge, and people are open to that. People are willing to do that. People are saying, there's a different way to do things. I don't have to always be doing it the same way. And we're working well with people to say, we can use technology to help in these processes. And Josh, would you add anything?
Yes, I like to look at it too around implementing IT and through lean and through agile approaches and how we do our project management. We bring a value to the state with our projects running agile, getting those benefits out to the state early and often through releases and incremental development.
You know, Josh mentioned a little bit when he started to talk about lean and BPM, and I'll turn this to Josh on that. And you'll see several states are really embracing lean. Our version of lean is business process management, where we can use technology to improve how operations get done, to improve the interactions with the citizens. So I think BPM is very big for us. I think we made some great strides on the workforce issues from our intern programs and mentorship programs and things. We're really, really taking it seriously. You know, the days of, you know, even 5 years ago when you just posted a job on a website and hoped people would come to it, those days are over. We're out there with social media, we're reaching out to people, we're building mentorships, college interns, all those type of things. Very, very important to us. And Josh mentioned the one other thing I'd mention is we're an agile shop, right? So a couple of years ago, we looked, as the industry looked, and we said, you know, waterfall really isn't making it. The days of the 2 and 3 year project that end up and may not be successful at the end, we really have to change that mantra. And so we went to Agile a couple of years ago, did a lot of training of people in Agile, and really these quick releases, flexibility, inclusion of our agency partners, all of those things are adding up to making a more satisfied workforce. At the end of the day, people enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, Agile is really a lean method to me. So you have lean and BPM. BPM is adding the IT component. And if you go out to the other states, some of the other states are really doing a great job implementing lean and BPM through their programs. And they're seeing those returns. They're seeing the cost benefits They're seeing the reduction in the time it takes for someone to manually process, so they're implementing technology to maximize those benefits. And we're trying to bring that to the state of Maine to save the citizens of Maine money.
Well, I think that innovation for a state organization, people often say you don't want to be on the bleeding edge, you want to be on the cutting edge. And I think we look a lot to private industry and say, where's the movement going in that? We look to the federal government. The federal government has created a cloud-first policy. Well, what does that mean to us? Should we have the same type of policy? And within Maine, one of the nice things about Maine, in addition to having beautiful scenery and just being a beautiful place to live, it's a very small state. We have a few Fortune 500 companies, very small, and we can reach out. It's a small organization. We can reach out. I can reach out to the other CIOs, and I do this a couple times a year, and we get together and I say, would you guys help me review my 5-year IT plan? And what are you doing? And how do we think about that? So I think that the innovation comes both from internal work, right? We look and say, people have employee suggestions, those type of things, but we also keep a big eye on the industry. Say, where's the industry going, innovation side? And Josh is leading a lot of that in some of the cutting edge things he's doing.
Yeah, Jim said, he mentioned, we're a smaller state, so we have to really look for those efficiencies and ways to optimize our practices and how we do things. And we're looking at, modernization of a lot of our legacy applications, looking for ways to consolidate and through the use of IT and looking out at the other vendors and how we can bring that talent in are multiple ways we can get that done.
Well, we've touched upon a couple of them. Certainly cybersecurity, you're one click away from having a breach, right? Having an issue there. And, we've seen that in some other states, and we try to be vigilant about that. But, we put up a couple of things. The governor's created an executive order so that we train, each employee once a year. They go through cybersecurity training. We do phishing exercises with the different agencies where we'll put out fake emails and try to teach people and help them and understand that. But, there's just, it's that challenge of how do you be open and secure at the same time. It's very much a challenge. So I think cybersecurity is probably our number one thing. The other thing is just, as Josh started to allude to about the lean processing. I mean, we still have too many processes that are relying on paper, that are relying on manual process of paper moving from one desk to another, and we just simply have to get away from that. When we able to go in with software and improve those things, we see a great turnaround in time and efficiency, but there's so much of it that has to be done. Those are the things that sort of can be overwhelming, so you have to put a plan together and just address them as you can.
And to me, it's retaining the talent as well. Maine is a small state. We compete with other large cities locally, like Boston, and even Portland within the state of Maine. So how do we, as a state government, we can't compete financially with them. So coming to NASCIO is a wonderful opportunity to look and see how other states who have these same issues are dealing with it. And you just have to look for ways and to bring that talent in, look for new ways through the use of IT. You have LinkedIn, you have Twitter. You can get out there and reach out to the younger generation that's coming in and try to bring that talent into the state of Maine.